So Dillian Whyte says that he would like to fight Joyce. He thinks he could knock Joyce out. He thinks that his left hook has enough power. Well, he said his left hook or his right hand have enough power to knock any heavyweight in the world out as long as he lands them clean. I mean, it's possible that that's true. Maybe he's got the power in his left hook to drop any heavyweight in the world if he lands right. But what are the odds of him landing a shot like that on someone like Joyce, who does take a good punch, before Joyce lands a fight-ending shot on him? Bear in mind, Joyce has quicker feet than Dillian Whyte. He's taller, he's bigger, he's heavier. He's got a good jab. Whyte's got a good jab, but Joyce has got a good jab too. And Joyce is a lot fresher. Even though he's older than Dillian Whyte, he's a fresher fighter. He's got more of an amateur background. So for my money, I would bet on Joyce landing a fight-ending shot before Whyte manages to land one. That's just my take on it, because Joyce has the better punch resistance, and I think Joyce has the better balance. And he's, I think, going to get to Dillian Whyte before Dillian Whyte gets to him. That's just my take on it. And as far as the other fighter Dillian Whyte is interested in taking on right now, which is Anthony Joshua, Joshua's beaten him once before. I see no reason, even though Joshua's coming off 2 losses, I see no reason in my head why Joshua wouldn't win again. I think Joshua's more experienced now, just as Whyte is. Perhaps Joshua's confidence has taken a knock from the Usyk defeats, from the Ruiz defeat, but he is still the guy who's taller, more athletic, better balance, faster hands, and he did knock Dillian Whyte out first time around, so he takes confidence from that. So, and also, even though Anthony Joshua doesn't have great punch resistance, I would say AJ has maybe an average chin or slightly below average. He doesn't have the worst heavyweight chin I've ever seen. I would say he's got a better chin than Dillian Whyte at this stage. And in terms of the worst heavyweight chins I've seen, probably Michael Moorer is definitely up there for one of the worst chins I've seen. Tommy Morrison, at least after the Ray Mercer fight, his chin was really bad. And Herbie Hyde. I'll tell you, those are the 3 worst heavyweight chins I've seen. If you want to throw David Price in there, but David Price, I don't think his chin was as bad as some of the guys I mentioned, to be honest with you. I think Michael Moorer probably had a worse chin than David Price. Michael Moorer was a better fighter, but his punch resistance was really poor. So yeah, that's my take on worst punch resistance in terms of heavyweights that you would have heard about in my lifetime, at least. That's what I would say. And Dillian Whyte, at this stage, his punch resistance is pretty poor from what I can see. And I would say AJ's is better. So if I'm weighing up the odds of AJ landing a fight-ending punch before Dillian Whyte, I've got to go with AJ. Did it first time around. I have to imagine he'd do it second time around too. I think he has the know-how to beat Dillian. And look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't have any, despite what weirdos online try and claim, I got nothing against Dillian Whyte. I'm just being objective. I'm just saying what I see. And if you disagree with me, make an objective argument. Don't come with ad hominem attacks and you're a Dillian Whyte hater. Just tell me in an objective fashion why you think I'm wrong and why you think that Dillian Whyte is going to be able to land a fight-ending punch on Joyce or AJ before they land one on him. Explain that to me. What is it that Dillian Whyte has that's going to enable him to do that? Bear in mind that, at least in my view, they both take a better shot than Whyte. So, yeah. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about that. I personally don't think that either of those fights are good fights for Dillian, but maybe he's just looking for a payday, because at the end of the day, look, he's going to try and win whatever fight he's in because he's a warrior. But I have to imagine that he's trying to make the most out of the name that he's built up over the years, commercially at this stage. He's really trying to cash in now. He had a nice big payday against Fury, and he wants some other big paydays before he has to bow out. So that's why he's looking at the AJs and the Joyces of the world. Maybe that's why he's not really talking that much about Dubois, because I think Dubois is a more winnable fight for him than AJ. And I'm not saying I would necessarily pick him, but I think he's got a better chance against Dubois because he's a bit more green and he showed a bit of mental fragility in the Joyce fight. And I'm not judging him for it. I'm just saying, I'm just describing what happened in the Joyce fight. He did go down on one knee and not get back up. I'm just describing what happened. I'm not judging him. All right. I can't say that I wouldn't have done the same in his position. Okay. I've never had a bust up eye with a fractured eye socket as he claims to have. I haven't had that. So I can't say that in that position I would have been so brave. No, I'm not. I'm just describing what he did. Okay. There are lots of fighters in boxing who suffer similar injuries to that and they don't go down on one knee and quit. They carry on. So those are the kind of people I'm comparing Daniel Dubois to. You see it? So, yeah, Dubois showed some mental fragility in that Joyce fight. He's smaller than the other two. He's greener. He's not as experienced. He's a bit more stiff. Maybe Dillian Whyte can catch him with some of his veteran moves and that crafty left hook and all that kind of thing. And because he's closer to Dillian Whyte in height, maybe Whyte will be able to compete more with a jab and all this kind of thing. Obviously, if Dubois catches him, then it's curtains for Dillian Whyte. But maybe it's curtains for Dubois if Whyte catches him on the chin with a left hook. And maybe he's got a better chance of landing that kind of shot on Dubois than he has on the other two. So, yeah, that's my take on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about Dillian Whyte calling out Anthony Joshua. If the Tyson Fury fight doesn't come off, he wants to fight Joshua. Also, Joe Joyce. He thinks he can knock Joe Joyce out. What do you guys think about it?